step back with me for a moment to the year 2015. 343 Industries is releasing Halo 5 Guardians to eager fans the world over. The game itself is mostly well received, but there are certainly fair criticisms that can be leveled at it. Removed from the release hype, however, Halo 5 stands as a solid shooter with tight gameplay and gorgeous art direction. But its defining technical achievement remains something that continues to elude most AAA releases: a rock-solid 60 frames per second frame rate. Reaching performance levels typically reserved only for Nintendo-developed games, 343 Industries manages to offer a large-scale AAA shooter at a blistering frame rate that almost never wavers. It is an incredible achievement, but this fluidity comes at a price: image quality. When dealing with the original Xbox One, something had to give. The year is now 2017 and Microsoft has just unleashed the Xbox One X, and with it, a selection of patches designed to enhance existing games. Halo 5 is one such game, and at last the blurry mask which once concealed its rich facade has been peeled back, revealing a beautiful game beneath the surface. Welcome to the new face of Halo 5. As you've no doubt seen from watching this video thus far, we're looking at a significant upgrade over the original Halo 5 experience. In updating the game for Xbox One X, 343 has opted for a clear strategy: push image quality to the highest level possible. The result is a game which looks wholly unlike its original release. From this very first scene, Halo 5 gains a tremendous amount of detail on the new console that was previously missing. Textures are more visible and clear, and details appear sharp, far off into the distance. The high resolution now reveals details which were once impossible to see. If we zoom in on this weapon here, you can now clearly read the little display that's mounted on the rifle. A battery meter was there the whole time, but only now can it be properly seen. Every single stage in the game benefits tremendously from this increase in resolution. Perhaps more than any other game at the launch of the new system, Halo 5 demonstrates the benefits of a higher resolution. Which brings us to the question then: just how much has it actually improved? On the base Xbox One, Halo 5 is designed to target 1080p whenever possible, but in reality, the game very rarely reaches this point. Nearly every single battle in the game plummets below this point, producing results as low as 810p at times. It's not optimal, but the side effect was a perfect 60 frames per second, a fair and logical trade-off. On Xbox One X, however, the base resolution has been increased to a native 2160p or full 4K. Only this time, Halo 5 does a much better job of sticking close to this high resolution. Smaller skirmishes and less crowded areas all seem to turn in a native 4K presentation, and it looks great. Zooming in on the details, the difference is clear. The original Xbox One doesn't come close. At times we're looking at 5 to 6 times the resolution detail on Xbox One X. The leap really is tremendous. But Halo 5 is well known for its dynamic resolution feature, and of course, this is fully active on Xbox One X. Just as before then, Halo 5 can adjust the X and Y axes independently, resulting in oddball values in the name of stability. This includes resolutions such as 2816 by 1584 and 3360 by 1890, as well as many others. From a normal viewing distance and during the heat of action, however, these drops are difficult to notice. The perception during play is that Halo 5 is now a razor-sharp experience on the Xbox One X. And this is true regardless of your display. Yes, Halo 5 is at its best on a 4K TV, there's no doubt about it, but owners of 1080p displays will benefit greatly as well. There's really two reasons for this, and it applies to a great number of games for the system. First and foremost, the Xbox One X downsamples everything automatically, unlike PS4 Pro, so you can count on improved super sampled image quality on your TV display. That makes sense, right? But the most important thing to consider here is this: Halo 5 and many other Xbox One games fail to even reach 1080p much of the time on the vanilla system. If you're playing Halo 5 on an Xbox One S using a 1080p TV, you're still getting sub-native image quality throughout. On Xbox One X, however, Just a bump to 1080p would be enough to offer a huge improvement, but in this case, super sampling takes things even beyond that. Which brings us to another interesting thing, unpatched image quality. Prior to the launch of the system, we tested Halo 5 on the Xbox One X without the 4K patch installed. What we found was interesting. The dynamic scaler takes advantage of the faster hardware automatically. This means that Halo 5 can now run at a full 1080p without any additional patching right out of the box. It demonstrates the flexibility of the renderer when coupled with more powerful hardware. And it also highlights one interesting inconsistency: texture filtering. The original Halo 5 release on Xbox One exhibits a very low quality level of texture filtering, as evident in this scene. With the 4K patch installed, however, texture filtering is greatly improved, allowing detail to be preserved further into the distance. However, if you run without the patch installed, Xbox One X can force 16x anisotropic filtering automatically, which produces results superior to the proper 4K patch even. Clearly, the massive bump in resolution leaves fewer resources available for high quality texture filtering, and thus 16xAF had to go. It's still a huge improvement over the vanilla game, of course, but the results here are certainly fascinating and raise a point that I hadn't previously considered. Personally, I'll stick with the high resolution mode. Back to this scene, there's also a greater density of rubble here on the left, along with improved details on this gate over here on the right. This also highlights how bloom lighting is tied to the resolution. The size of the light bloom varies between the two. Another major improvement on Xbox One X then is the HUD and text elements. Everything has been recreated at native 4K, meaning that everything from your in-game HUD display to the various menus throughout the game have been greatly enhanced with the new art. And one more additional improvement, which I haven't touched on yet, are the cutscenes. As with the original game, Halo 5's real-time cutscenes all play back at 30 frames per second, but on Xbox One X, the resolution has been upgraded from 1080p to native 4K. And even better, in a number of scenes we actually see genuine increases in geometry complexity. Look closely at the details in this scene and you can see that they appear much more detailed on Xbox One X. A very nice improvement indeed. Even 2 years after its release, the quality of these cutscenes cannot be understated. The modeling, textures, and lighting are top-notch, while each character turns in a believable performance. It's a nice upgrade over the standard system and remains a real showcase to this day. This is one area where Halo 5 can stand toe-to-toe with the best looking games in the industry. Now, moving beyond all these changes and improvements, Halo 5 retains many of the same performance saving techniques present in the original game. Considering this is a patch produced 2 years after launch though, this is kind of expected and ultimately acceptable. Animation, for instance, still plays at half rate when enemies are at a distance or when the battlefield becomes too crowded. Shadow quality also remains inconsistent at times, with artifacts like this showing up during gameplay. It would have been great to see these various things tweaked and improved for Xbox One X, but again, with so little time to produce a patch for an older game, it's not unexpected that things haven't changed. So, thus far then, we've established that Halo 5 benefits greatly from Xbox One X by increasing the resolution, texture filtering quality, and refining certain aspects of its overall presentation. But what about performance? After all, hitting and maintaining 60 frames per second is a critical piece of the puzzle. Thankfully, even with the massive jump in resolution, Halo 5's adaptive resolution feature remains just as effective as ever. During my time playing the game on Xbox One, I managed to play through a chunk of every single mission in the game, and never once did I encounter any actual GPU related drops in performance. Everything was smooth and stable, just as you would hope in each of these stages. The one caveat to keep in mind here though are the loading hitches. As with every other Halo game, Halo 5 regularly fetches data from the hard disk to provide a more seamless experience, and that remains the case here. When moving between areas or traveling at an especially high speed, you'll run into these small hitches and blips. Thankfully, this is just about the only time you'll actually encounter any slowdown, and during the normal run of play, everything else runs like a dream. Now, in testing this, I did find that you might see better results when running the game from the Xbox One X's internal hard drive. Playing Halo 5 from an external drive can yield additional hitches during some of these loading segments. Not a huge difference, but it's something to keep in mind when installing the game. Still, the overall point here is that Halo 5 maintains its target frame rate during battle, allowing for a highly responsive and enjoyable experience all around. It's every bit as smooth as the Xbox One original, but it looks so much better. So then, taken together, Halo 5 on the Xbox One X is certainly an excellent upgrade. There's a sense here that the original artwork crafted for the game was never fully visible on the original Xbox One, and with Halo 5 only existing in a limited form on the PC, namely the Forge mode, it was never really possible to experience it properly. Now with the Xbox One X, you can. If you missed out on Halo and can accept that this is a vision unique to 343 Industries rather than a Bungie style game, it's absolutely worth a look. Halo 5 is a full-fat, 4K, 60 frames per second experience. Even with its adaptive resolution feature, this is one of the sharpest looking games on the system thus far. Beyond that, this is only the first step in upgrading Halo for Xbox One X. The Master Chief Collection is slated to be improved for the X as well, sometime early next year. While owners of the original Xbox 360 version of Halo 3 can already enjoy it at a much higher resolution right now, something we'll be looking at going forward. When all is said and done then, the Xbox One X should provide the best place to play every single Halo game ever made, and that's a rather appealing idea. That's all for now though. We'll be producing more Xbox One X content over the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for that. But for now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us over on Twitter. And until next time, this is John signing off.